currently on social media.
Alright, so this is a different one, because we're already rolling.
I don't even know where to look at.
We
Where
have
do I-
watch, we have,
when we're
this is
answering,
your
are we-
camera right there.
Alright.
Yeah.
But when we're answering, we're looking at you guys. Obviously,
Yeah.
right? We're having a
I don't
conversation.
even look at the cameras anymore.
Cameras.
Cameras. But yeah, so we are in the studio today for a special episode, because we are chatting with the filmmakers of Antisocial, which, as this goes to air, will be up tomorrow morning. It opens tomorrow, today, at the Carlton Cinema.
Yes.
Yeah, Friday the 13th. So yes, we have Cody Callahan, and one of the producers, Chris Drew. Awesome shirt.
I know, right? I said
Yes, mine glows in the dark.
Yours is
I got nothing.
Yeah, that
You're
black,
plain black,
socks
or black
on
on black on
I got
black.
Hedgehog,
Cool shirt as well.
mostly because it was cold. It was very cold today.
But before we get into talking about Antisocial, because both Sue and I have seen it now,
Yep.
we always like to start with your all-time favorite movie, just so we can get a feel for who you guys are.
Or one up.
You go first, because I feel like you're ready to go.
Mine's Pulp Fiction.
Nice.
Mine's been Pulp Fiction for a
Nice.
while, and I'm always trying to find a movie that'll trump it. But I watched Pulp Fiction from start to finish when I was in high school, and then it was like an encore presentation, and that was the first movie that I was like, credits rolled, and I was like, I could go again.
I
Watch
can do
the whole
that,
movie again. So that has to be my favorite movie.
That's wicked. Good choice. I like that.
Mine's a little off kilter from the genre that we're in, but I think it's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
We'll
Mind.
get
I
one,
just
yeah,
rewatched
we
that.
just talked about that.
Yeah.
I just think it's, how do you retell a love story and they redo it visually? I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous film.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Because yeah, I just rewatched it because I'm working my way through the 101 sci-fi movies to see before you die.
Nice.
And it was on there. I hadn't watched it since it came out.
Yeah.
Just like-
Did you see it in theater?
No, I missed
Yeah,
it. But
okay.
I was in a video store, so I got to see everything.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is so good. And just rewatching it, I forgot how good it is.
Yeah.
It's just
amazing.
Yeah.
gorgeous. Yeah. Well, let's not talk about that. We're talking about horror movies because
Yeah.
specifically Antisocial or Antisocial. Antisocial. It just sounds like a relation.
Annie.
Yeah.
Annie so
Liked it a lot. And I love the whole take on social media. Now, was it intentional? Because it's about an app, very Facebook-like.
Yep.
Called Red Room, and my brain automatically jumped to the
Red
Shining.
rum? Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay,
So
yeah,
close.
that's where we started at.
Makes
But I mean,
perfect
as you said, it's like we styled it after Facebook, and it's like Facebook's blue, so we gotta go red.
Red Room. And as soon as I said it, I'm like, Red Room.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm hoping that was intentional.
Definitely intentional.
And then I totally geeked out over whether or not it was a little Exorcist reference or not, but our friend Robert Nolan is in there as a priest.
He is.
Yeah.
There's our little exorcist moment.
I was like, this is awesome. And then it's a really kind of fresh take on what is known as like the zombie genre.
Yeah.
You know, it just kind of shakes it up. And who came up with the idea? Where did it come from?
It had pieces along the way. When I was producing, the co-writer and the other producer, Chad Archibald, when I was producing his movie Never Lost, I was out to dinner with my dad, who lives in Kingston, so he's not here that often, and it was one of those like, oh yeah, you do, on my phone. And he referenced it to being like a disease. So I made this note of like, okay, that's something. Like it's because it's coming so big and everybody's always on them. It's like there's something there. I haven't figured it out yet, but there's something there. And then I was pitching ideas for movies to Breakthrough, and they sort of bought into this rough idea of a zombie movie with no zombies. Like that's what I wanted to do. It was like people barricading themselves in the house, and then the social media aspect sort of made its way in, and then I sort of took I feel like it was like napkin notes to Chad, and I was like, okay, let me just pitch this idea, and I said it to him, and he was like, okay, yeah, that is something new. That might be a new take on the zombie genre, and then so the three of us got together and.
Especially because that's the first thing people do in any emergency is to like go for their phones, go.
Yeah, well, how bad is it? Is it all
updating
over
everything
Facebook? Then it must be bad.
Yeah.
It's like
And the
when
fact that
Toronto-
everybody's on Facebook ends up being the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like when Toronto had like an earthquake,
I
Yeah.
remember that.
and you're like, yeah, I live out in Burlington, but I was in Ottawa at the time, and everyone's like, earthquake. earthquake, so I picture like, you know, something out of like Dante's Peak, like
The CN Tower is on an
city's
angle.
leveled.
Yeah.
Everyone's on Facebook, and then you go and you're like, someone's lawn chair fell over. And
Yeah, I was at work in the
That's that
basement and didn't even
massive-
know until I was on
Yeah.
Facebook that we had an earthquake.
But it's like it made the problem so much worse. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like massive earthquake, and you picture like rioting, things on fire, but nothing happened. So
People in other parts of the world are like, really?
really,
Yeah. Want to see an
That-
Really,
earthquake?
John? The
Now,
other thing actually that was, while we're talking about it, that it reminded me of was Stephen King's book, The Cell.
ooh, yeah.
Okay, so this is
Or
funny.
Cell, I guess.
Yeah,
it is.
this is funny because I didn't know that.
yeah, none of
Did
us
you?
read it. No.
I can't remember, somebody brought it up and we were like halfway through shooting and somebody was like, oh, is this based off The Cell? And I was like, oh
What?
my god. Is this like one of those opportunities? I'm like, okay, it's the first movie I'm directing. I'm like, did I just accidentally rip somebody off? And it was terrifying. It was like, I remember going, like, all three of us were like, stop fucking shooting. And we opened it up. And I can't believe the three of us didn't
No, I
know
know.
about it. And then
If you're gonna
after,
rip somebody off, though.
yeah, and then, but then looking into it, I was like, okay, thank God,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
different.
no, it's completely different.
But no, I had no idea.
It kind of reminded me of that, because I always do that on Subway now. I'm like, well, what if something happened like The Cell, only it happens to everybody who's wearing headphones?
Right, yeah.
That was a
You
Doctor
know?
Who episode.
Oh,
So there
well,
you go.
then screw that. I don't know what it is.
Thank you very much.
Just keep drinking my water.
Do that. But yeah, I love, it's such a cool idea because everybody's on there, so everybody could be, and that's just,
Yeah, and it's that act of like, you know, you pick up your phone and you're like, you check your Facebook and then you're done, and you put it down and you get into a conversation and then like 3 seconds later the
you
person
check
goes,
it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
really? Those next posts are gonna change your life. God, challenge.
When we were at Fantasia, when we premiered the movie in Montreal in the summer, Chad and Cody and Michelle went up for a Q&A, and you know, the lights come up, and you know, some people leave, and the majority of people stay, and everyone's getting settled because the Q&A is about to start. So maybe like a couple minutes have started. So Chad goes up and says, how many people enjoyed the film? You know, the audience goes nuts, and then how many people have been on their Facebook since the film ended?
What's funny is that like,
And it's like that.
Okay.
Hands go up, and it's like, you know, the big line is, well, yeah, you're all.
They're
infected.
infected.
And it's like
Hey, good or bad reviews.
Yeah.
You're still dead.
80% of the theater is on their phone within that 2-minute period
Right,
of, since the film ended. So it was funny, and yeah, it was that weird moment of like, all right, cool. Well, we've that's a weird moment.
You just made your point.
Thanks for proving me right. See you later. All right.
Because I was literally thinking about that today on the way in. It's just because I've got like my little Kindle and I'm reading my books on Kindle. I'm like, just 20 years ago, even or when I was a kid,
Right.
none of this existed.
No, you read books in books. Yeah. Okay.
Which I still have.
I got my first cell phone like 10 years
Yeah.
ago, so it's
Yeah.
not even, it didn't take pictures.
Ryan Barrett, who's in the film, he plays Chad in the
Yeah.
film.
Right.
Still doesn't have a phone.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's like, you know, one of
Is
those.
that on purpose though?
I don't know. I'm gonna say it.
I want to say it is
he's
because it's so
watching.
much cooler.
Yeah.
Ryan Barrett, on purpose. Doesn't have a cell phone. And is not on Facebook.
Doesn't know what Twitter is. That's wild. Now, I do want to ask like a goofy, maybe technical question.
Cool.
Because obviously, Red Room isn't an actual app. So
No.
when they're pulling out their phones, is that like it's not a burn-in? So is it a photo that they're going through?
Some of them,
Some of them are videos.
I think some of them are actually green screen.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But only like 2 or 3, only when we had no time. And it was like, just pull the phone out.
Yeah.
Chad, the co-writer, actually, like, we kind of designed it together, but he actually built it himself. Upstairs,
Right.
so we had this house, so he's upstairs, I'm downstairs, like, yelling up, I need the video! And he's taking these videos that we've shot a week ago, and he's putting them on this fake website, and he's programming the site so that a thumb can scroll it, but it's timed. It's like 1, 2, 3, scroll. You know what I mean? Like, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we did that mostly on set, but I think, you know, when it introduces everybody on Red Room.
Which, by the way, great way to introduce characters.
Yeah.
It
I
gets
thought that
you
was
to know
kinda
them
cool.
And having
right
somebody
away.
get dumped online,
yeah.
just start. It's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No, it's cool. I understand. Understand what?
Explain it to me.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I just love
And
it.
plus, she was so cute. What the hell's wrong with that?
That was the only unbelievable thing in this entire
Yeah.
What is he thinking? But time frame for shooting, how long did it take to shoot?
Oh my god. Well, okay, so the majority of it in the house, like, you have probably a better idea of the actual days. I know the house was I want to say 18.
18.
So 18 days in the house, but that doesn't include
All the YouTube
anytime you
footage.
watch
Yeah.
anything outside,
Right.
or the finale of the movie, or even the university that was shot at Guelph University, a high school in Guelph, and U of T, just to get those like
Oh, the experience.
15 seconds.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
We also stole those locations.
And then the ending of the film, which I won't say, but the ending of the film is shot in Guelph.
Yep.
2 streets over from where our producer, Chad, the co-writer and producer, lives. So we just literally closed off a street in Guelph and just shot that a couple weeks after the film was wrapped.
So yeah, I say that.
It was like a month of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
That's
while.
wild. I
But
say
the
that in
YouTube
my review,
footage
too.
just took so long. Like we shot them all over the GTA. We
Really?
shot it at like my old high school. We shot.
I want to
Oh,
say
You got
in
like
the end
actual news reporters and stuff
Yeah.
too.
like
I was like, oh my god, it's like
yeah.
Susan Baddies in
yeah,
there.
and not only that, but the reporter at the beginning, it's actually Bill Hall from CKWS in Kingston,
Right. Oh,
where
yeah.
I'm from.
Yeah.
So it was
I
like
don't
we had all
know,
these
but yeah.
things, and we sent him the dialogue, and he was like, well, it's not really how we would talk. So he helped us change it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I drove there and shot
Way.
the beginnings of them. And it's funny because we had actors in playing reporters, and it's so funny. There's just something about a reporter that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
really hard to
Yeah.
recreate. But obviously for reporters, they're just reading the news.
Yeah, unless you're doing Anchorman
Yeah.
or something. You're
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
parody. So that was,
Like my
that was-
friend Janelle, she does one of the voices, and she hosts a show in Brockville. And then Suze Kimbatti is a friend of my family for years, and then she did a little bit. And so we got actual kind of reporters
That's
or radio DJs and stuff to do the little
Which
voiceovers,
helps.
which
Yeah.
helps just
Yeah,
it's
skyrocket it.
insane.
So because we did we cast so many actors, and you know you can kind of hear one lines here and there, but it was just so important to kind of capture that realism, especially
Yeah.
because news is so easily accessible. There's 24-hour news stations,
Right.
there's news online. People kind of know what that vibe is,
Yeah.
and if you try to fake it, it just shows
Yeah.
you're trying to fake
And
it.
you've got one guy freaking out with his friend online, and
Yeah.
then he's
Oh, that
like
was
finding
awesome.
like the rogue video
Totally
clips and
forgot about
stuff.
Yeah.
And then like the news reports are far more calm. And so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm afraid it's too late for you.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it was
even that's
funny
not
when we were
like
writing those.
freaking
We were
out.
like, "There's no news reporter that's going to come on air
Yeah.
and freak out."
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the people who were like, "No, man, I just looked out my window. Like this is
Yeah.
not good."
Yeah.
They'd be more honest, right?
Yeah.
When Cody and Chad first brought me the script, I read it a bunch of times before we met, and my favorite thing was like the kind of the YouTube footage.
Yeah.
Because we not only did we get to take the film out of the house and kind of make it on a global scale.
For a little relief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to kind of show the audience that it's happening worldwide and not just in this house. But
Everything starts to bleed red. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god.
we kind of got to kind of tribute some kind of our classic horror films.
Oh,
as well.
totally.
We got the Exorcism kind of
Yeah.
thing, and we got to do all these kind of little things of movies that we
Homages.
love, and an homage kind of classic films, and watch a lot of like news footage of violent outbreaks, and kind of watch all that stuff to kind of see what people would post. And we watched like fake like possession videos.
Yeah, did you watch this?
We watched them all.
I can't remember what it's called now. But we were searching through YouTube when we were like coming up with ideas, and we found this. The name will come to me. It's a audio. Have you seen this? With the kids put the headphones on, and it's supposed to be. It's an audio wave that's supposed to simulate the drug's effects of ecstasy.
Oh my god.
And it's literally these kids sitting online, like, freaking out and like, tensing up, listening to this stuff. And we were watching this, and I was like, I feel like my movie sucks. This is so intense. Like, how do we make this? And it was funny because while we were doing that, because we spent all this time watching YouTube and like any videos we could find, and you know, and some of our searches were like, you know, and if the government's watching Minor Chad's YouTube searches, we're fucked. But, you know. But yeah, we did a lot of research that way, just, you know, trying to find the craziest stuff we could, because as soon as it's on YouTube, you're like, ooh, is this real? Is this fake? Is
Yeah.
it real? And then it's like a million hits, you're like, I don't know.
That's awesome. But I did like the whole fact that there was the YouTube stuff,
Yeah.
and the interviewers and the radio, because Otherwise, yeah, like you said, you're trapped inside the house by bringing these interviews in. I don't want to say production value, because obviously production value is there, but it gives it expanded scope to everything.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I love how it starts out, you hear about, oh, this guy on campus, and then you hear this guy in another city, and then, oh, over here, and then like,
Yeah,
oh.
my
It's
Watch this
coming.
girl's blog.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That
Yeah.
was so
Little
good.
Girls Blog,
Yeah.
which is my
They
favorite
were
fantasy.
they're awesome.
That was
Those
the
two
greatest
girls
sequence.
are amazing.
That actually
They
took
were
it.
so good.
They're
Oh,
amazing.
it took 2 days. Like I feel like we spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
It took 2 days to shoot that, and they were like trooper. Like that fight scene we shot like
When she's tweeting
20
her friend to
times.
death.
Right?
Like at the end of it was like, and they were like moving like this because we had been shooting all day, and then we came back the next
day.
morning,
Yeah.
right back to the fight scene
Oh.
again.
Just speed up the footage.
Because it's only one shot, right? So I
Yeah.
don't. It's like, ooh, that moment was great. I need all the
You know,
moments.
Yeah.
No, it was really cool, and we lived in the house that we shot at. So me,
Oh,
Cody,
nice.
Chad, and a lot of the crew stayed in that house. So it's that weird moment when you like go to the bathroom at 3 o'clock in the morning, you see little bits of like little girl head still in the hallway. You're like, what are we doing?
Fake Ryan Barrett head in the
Yeah.
bathroom.
All these heads, and then when a character dies in the film, we had them sign the bathroom in blood. And
Nice.
So the,
Oh, wicked.
The whole
Yeah.
That's
bathroom
awesome.
is
That
covered
is
in
cool.
blood.
You have like shots of that for
Oh,
the
yeah.
extras or
We
something.
do. It's actually
Covered
it's
in blood.
only still on my phone. I
Yeah.
never ever took it off, but it is on my phone. It
That's
still
so-
exists
Yeah, we had all
in
these,
social media.
These
Perfect.
blood signatures on the wall for the monsters.
Yeah.
So it was a weird movie. And it's like we almost isolated ourselves while shooting it. Cody didn't leave the house at one point for 8 days.
Dude.
Yeah,
And,
not even past the door.
Yeah.
And it was barricaded at that point.
Yeah, of course.
So I would wake up and I'd like
There's
it
no
wasn't
sunlight
time. It was
or-
like Chris would just
Oh,
wake me up and
God.
I'd get up and I'd shower and all the windows are blocked off. So for 8 days I got a little like
The
I got
best
a
was
little.
on like day 7, Cody was like, I'm leaving. Like, I need 5 minutes. So he walks to the door.
It's like a
And,
sequel to Cabin Fever.
Yeah, exactly. He walks to the door and he was like, I'm doing it. Like he's talking to Chad and I was like, I think you should just for a minute, right? And then you just hear Jeff in the background, frame! Alright, well that's good. He almost made it. He was like 4 feet from the door. He almost made it too. Yeah.
That's but I just love that. It sounds like almost guerrilla kind of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are locked in there. You're doing it, and the turnaround that's insane. Just like
Well, we
That
shot
is that is the most
the
insane
fastest.
turnaround. I mean, this is like the 12th movie I've produced, and this is the fastest we've ever turned around a movie.
Oh man.
There you
It
guys-
was fast.
That's
And
you
we
guys
shot in January and we premiered in July.
Whoa.
We shot this past January, and we premiered at the Cannes Film Market in May. So with final film in May. So we shot in January, premiered in May. We didn't have a world premiere
And
until
that's thanks to like Stephanie Copeland, who's doing the soundtrack. Like I feel like she actually like almost lost her job while she was doing it because she was writing constantly.
Yeah.
George Flores, who
did, the
did all our
mix.
sound design and our sound mix, who normally for like a low budget would take 10, 15 days. And I think he did in 6.
Wow.
Cody was actually going to
Oh,
mix
yeah.
this during the day and then color correction at night. So he'd call me. And
So I said like I had a 2-hour turnaround for like 4 days because I would do all day with sound, and then I'd go home and I'd have an hour nap, and then I'd go to
Oh my God.
coloring.
because we had this deadline.
But it's like, but at that point, it's so exciting
Yeah.
that you're on a high note. Like, I don't want to sleep anyway. I'm gonna keep
Let's
going.
do
I'm gonna
this.
keep going. Yeah. Where everybody else I'm working with is like, oh my god,
Stop.
stop.
Just step away.
Stop.
For yeah.
And it's
That was cool.
Red Lab who did all the color correct.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, they're an amazing company that they've been. I mean, since they started, they've been backing projects I've done, music videos, short films, and so they've always got behind me, and they really got behind us in this one, and they pulled out kind of all the stops. So
Because it looks great.
yeah.
Just,
I give it, it's them and obviously Jeff Mahar, the DOP.
no, to completely just change direction. Who came up with the idea for the hallucinations? Like, see, those.
Oh, those were just
Oh, like the idea to have hallucinations
Yeah.
or the hallucinations.
Those are
Well, for me, I wanted to make a movie about zombies, not about zombies. So I want to play time in a zombie's head, which we call them users. We try not to use the zombie
Yeah.
word,
We
but
don't use
I've
the
used
C
it like
word.
4 times now. So
Nice reference.
that's
I
okay.
think for the longest time, we're like when a cast member or crew was like, we don't use the Z word. around here.
Users.
As soon as we
Users.
come out, we're like, Z word, Z word, Z word.
Yeah.
But we call them users, infected users, or just users, yeah.
All of the hallucinations are the eyeball one was a dream, a reoccurring dream I've had. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know, but not to make me the only weird one. The hair into the cord. That's actually the DP. It's one of his nightmares.
Wow.
Yeah. So he told me that nightmare, and I was like, okay, man, we gotta write that. And it was like even when he shot that one, it was like, when we shot the eyeball one, I was like all weirded out. But I was like, it feels like we're doing something
It's almost
special
cathartic.
because it's like I don't know. I haven't had that dream
I was gonna
since.
say, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's all you have to do. If you have a bad dream,
Just film it.
just make a movie because it's fucking easy. So just go out there, make a movie about it, and you're good.
Therapy.
But yeah,
We
it
have
was just,
all new nightmares.
but yeah, it was the group where they're like
The head shaking.
the head
Yeah.
shaking, and they're not looking, and then the next shot they're all looking at the camera. They're just whispering something, and I'm like, I kept leaning closer and closer to the speaker, saying,
Yeah.
I know, right? Their
Yeah.
bodies don't move, but their heads turn around, and then.
"Oh, it's
If you haven't seen the movie yet, there's tons of spoilers, so stop watching. But
Yeah, well, that was supposed to represent Red Room, in you know what I mean, like taking
Yeah.
over and the connect, how everybody's getting
Yeah.
connected. So that was sort of the visual.
Ryan's
reference.
character at the end has the big speech about, which is my favorite scene
Yeah.
in the movie, when he explains about how, join us, like we're all connected, you never have to feel alone, or you never have to be by yourself.
Yeah.
To me, it's the most powerful kind of scene in the film, because he, not only is he kind of directly talking about what's happening in the film, but
Mhm.
he's literally talking about what happens with our Facebook addiction and with our Twitter
Yeah.
addiction and things.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, it's like, because it has complete double meanings. He never talks about what's happening in the movie, but he never actually talks about what's happening outside. And when
That's
he
cool.
starts to explain it, you're just like, oh, so that's me. Oh.
I get it. Oh, just so, yeah, it was good. And we're gonna do a little spoilers now, so if you haven't seen the movie, stop.
Spoiler time.
already.
But
Just watch
well, the
the
really
movie.
big stuff, because like the ending with the, with having to do with the drill.
Yeah, the
that's-
drill.
Dude.
Is that a good dude?
No,
That
totally. I
dude
love
almost
that.
could have turned to like, get out of here, dude. What are you doing?
I love the whole fact that they do the stuff with the doctor first, and they say, if you've experienced hallucinations, we're sorry it's too late. I'm like, oh, you were so fun.
Yeah.
And,
Dude's already seeing stuff on his cell phone, but I was like, he's a doctor or a medical student at least, so
He'll be able to
he
figure
might,
it
if he
out,
can
maybe?
through this, he'll be able to do
He's
it,
got
and then,
that was just, and
No.
but the
Too
idea,
late.
the idea though that it's an actual tumor and it's growing, I love that idea. It's almost what Cronenbergish,
Mhm.
yeah.
just because old new flesh.
Yeah, well, yeah, Videodrome and Existence and
Yeah.
obviously big influences, especially for this one. But yeah, it was funny because when we were we had all these. We went to my cottage, me and Chad, and our whole cottage was just full of like paper on the walls and notes of like trying to figure out how the virus works.
Right.
And so yeah, like the basis of it is like it's a visual thing that makes your brain go overactive, and it's like how we only use a certain percent of our brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It opens that door, which just creates a tumor, which actually pops the skull because we're not ready for it.
Yeah.
But then it reboots you.
Yeah, I love that. When that happened in the video blog, I'm just like, oh shit!
That's what I did too, I was like,
Oh, that's why I love her line. Like, this gets worse.
And then I did exactly the same thing that everybody in the movies think. It's like, oh, okay, so all we gotta do is wait them out.
Yeah.
Oh. Shit.
Because that's the whole question, especially with shows like Walking Dead, and I think 28 Days Later is the only film that kind of addresses it near the end, when zombies actually kind of starve themselves out. Walking Dead and all those Romero movies are just like, just wait it. They gotta starve themselves out, right? You gotta wait it out. Oh, it's an infection. You gotta wait it out. And it's in those last couple minutes. You're like, oh. All right, so I'm screwed.
So,
then.
whatever you do.
I can't wait nothing. All right, cool.
For me though, the creepiest thing in the entire film is like after Caitlin has been, does her plunge and all that, and then she makes a status update. I
yeah.
was like,
Oh, yeah.
oh my, I was like, that's just
The
creepy.
ceiling fan.
Yeah, and then like the one hand
So
over it, like,
creepy.
Yeah. I remember.
That
Because
was one of the hardest scenes to shoot.
yeah.
That was actually the most terrifying. Is after we shot it, I'm like, I don't even know if that works. works. Because it's just the way it, like, we had to piece it together, and at that point we were rushing through the movie.
Wow.
And I was just worried that people, oh my God, like, it's simple when you watch it,
Mhm.
but like when we were shooting it, I was like, are people gonna get it? What we're doing, what we're
Yeah.
suggesting is like, they're like forever connected now.
My favorite part is during that scene in Montreal during Fantasia, I sat in front of Romain, who plays Steve in the
Yeah.
film. And I don't think that he knew that scene was going to happen.
The way it
played out. And I'm kind of like paying attention, but I'm just on edge because it's the first time we've screened at a public audience.
Right.
And we're all there, and we have our friends and family and everyone there. And I just see Romain kind of lean forward. He's like, "No." And I just kind of do one of these. I'm like, well, he was there when we were filming it, and if we got him, it's gonna get other people. So that was that cool.
That's
moment.
cool.
Because he just leans forward, and he's just so intense, just like, no. And I loved it. I was like, all right, cool, it worked.
Yeah, that had to be like my favorite moment in the film. More.
Yeah.
Just
That's
that
cool.
This is more than your basic,
Yeah.
not zombie story.
Right.
Yeah.
This is more.
I love too, because like everything happens because of this one internet site, but all the answers that they got were also from the internet.
Yeah.
So
Like,
Well,
well,
sure.
just get off the computer, but then they never find anything.
There was an original treatment. I mean, this was way back when I was like, okay, how much money can we get to make this movie, and how much, are we gonna figure this out with Breakthrough? I mean, it's me first directing, so it was a little bit like,
Right.
is he ready? Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But there was an original treatment way back where it was all gonna happen, found footage, just YouTube clips. So an hour and a half of just as if you were watching YouTube.
Wow.
And it was just gonna be clip to clip to clip to clip to clip, and we were like, oh, okay, this is a movie we can make for like pennies. It'd be
Yeah.
really interesting, but for me, it was just like, I just don't want to make a found footage movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I just didn't want to. But I like in this where I'm like, I kind of get away with sort
You
of
get to
doing
do
it.
it,
Yeah.
And I think an idea that we had in the first one, but just couldn't get there, but we will do in the second one is we're gonna hopefully have some guest directors do all the YouTube clips.
Oh, sweet. That's
That was the
Cool.
original plan.
That's
Yeah.
good.
We didn't have time, but now it's like we started reaching out to people, knowing that the sequel's coming, and being able to say, here's the first movie, get
Yeah.
on board. So we've had a few directors sign off to jump on board.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Now, without
And you can't even necessarily trust everything that's obviously on YouTube.
Yeah.
Really, was that exorcism real?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing that was really interesting, and that scene was actually terrifying to shoot. That was the scariest, I think. I was,
Oh, The
yeah,
Exorcism?
to see it. I was actually scared to shoot it.
Well, she was brilliant.
She was amazing. She was this little girl actress that came in, and Cody's kind of explaining what the scene's going to do, and Robert Nolan's there.
And I'm asking her parents, because her parents, that's her parents in
In the scene.
In the
Yeah,
scene,
oh,
so
wow.
it goes by.
Parents,
So
yeah.
so we used them in the shot, and I was like, can I show her scenes from The Exorcist? And they're like, yeah, okay, yeah. So we were like picking that, and I was trying to describe it, and she was very quiet. So it was like, yeah, no, I understand. And it was like,
Are you okay?
yeah, it's like, is this gonna work? Is it gonna be the like, And we literally were like, and I was like, action, and it was like, she did the first take, and we were like, I'm fine with that. I want to do it again, because we have time, but I would have, on the first take, walked away.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we tied her hands.
And we got Robert Nolan, so.
Yeah.
We tied her hands to the bedpost for the scene, like just like The Exorcist and stuff. And she just literally, Cody was like, "Do you want to come in and like watch one? We're just gonna run a bunch." So I was like, "Yeah, cool, I'll come in," stuff like that. And we just built this bed, but it's like a makeshift bed.
Mhm.
It's not really like a proper bed. We kind of just made a bed to look like a bed. So she's tied to it, and she starts like, doing her possession thing.
Yeah.
Unhinges the headboard from the thing and
Rips
just
it off the wall.
runs at the camera and never breaks character
God.
until we're like running back with her until we hit the
Wow.
wall. We're like, God. And she's like, was it good? Did it work? I'm
No,
like, I'm
it's
not
brilliant.
sitting in it anymore. That's
Wow.
it for me. And she literally, this little girl, that looks, to replicate The Exorcist, which is, one of the most terrifying movies, and she just runs at the camera, and we're all just walking back and back and back, and speeding faster and faster, because she just comes beelining right at the camera. We're like, Cody was like, okay, well, yeah, that's good. I'm like, I'm not sitting in it anymore. This is what's gonna happen in the room.
I'm
Well,
done,
it's
yeah.
also funny because you find people like that, and it's like, after fighting her on this one, it's like, it's almost one of those things, it's like, I only got to use her for like 30 seconds, and I want to put her in the
Can I
sequel.
put her in
You
the
know
next?
what I mean? It's like, we're gonna write another movie, because we gotta use
she
her
was
again.
great.
Oh, yeah.
She was
Yeah,
great.
she was a gem.
And speaking of the
You should
next
show up in
movie,
the sequel running around
Yeah,
with
just
a
Yeah,
headband.
Still dragging the headboard.
I mean, can we get a hint of possibly where we're going for the sequel?
I don't know what we're allowed to say.
I can't. I mean, we know
Well,
we're
yeah,
allowed.
we're
We
changing
know we're
the
allowed to say that we're doing it. It's going to be a lot more about Sam's journey,
Okay.
and about the kid and what the kid becomes.
That's right.
So that would be like when the kid's born, it'd be almost like born infected. So
Yeah.
what is that?
So what is it?
Yeah.
Is it a modem?
It just modem comes out.
Oh, well, that's end credits.
That would be very
So
Cronenberg.
disappointing.
It's like a little wireless mouse.
It's just 6 minutes short. That's
We go to camera tonight.
yeah. We're shooting it right now.
This is it.
But now you guys have hit a number of the festivals with this.
We have.
Yeah. So where have you been?
We've been to a lot of countries worldwide. We're actually already out on DVD in Australia.
Nice.
Good.
But we've been to Vancouver International, we've been to Calgary International, been to Fantasia. We've screened in Mexico, Belgium, France, Leeds
Stitches.
International, Stitches.
Wow.
We've screened Fright
Stitches.
Fest.
I think it's Stitches.
Alright, whatever.
Screen there, Stitches.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like Stitches Film Festival.
I'm gonna
You're
Google
look up
that.
like the Stitches. And it's not.
We played at
we were in Stitches Film Festival. It's in Drew's backyard.
We played at Leeds International, Grimfest,
Yeah, we had a good run.
Australia.
Mhm.
And a big shout out to
and
Mitch
we-
Davis at Fantasia for sure.
Yeah, for giving us.
It's nice to
our-
be
Stuff,
home.
yeah. Well, stuff like the genre festivals like that. This must have been.
And in
played
France,
so
we,
well.
we won Best Screenplay.
Cool.
Nice. We actually beat out Gravity and Thor: Dark World.
Yeah.
So
Take that, Sandra Bullock.
Take that,
I